Today's dish is all presented by Stone Academy, right?
Sure is. All right, so I am a big McDonald's fan.
Yes, you are, and
we've talked about that before.
And I'm a big Drake fan, so this is like a story.
It goes hand in hand. This was a winner.
Match made in heaven, right? So the rapper, he was at your local Mickey D's, and he was just hungry, right? I mean, he's a big star, but he still likes a chicken McNugget or two, some sweet and sour sauce.
Who doesn't, right?
Exactly, a little Big Mac. So what he decided to do was grant 2 workers separately $10,000 in cash.
Just for the heck of it. Just for bringing him his order.
For feeling good about it.
Well, that's fantastic.
I guess that's God's plan, right?
Oh, I see what you did.
That's what we did in the music video, just dishing out money left and right. But that's so cool. I mean, if we ever make it big someday, maybe we could do the same. Maybe we can give away $10.
I mean, what's $10? It's probably not a whole lot of money to him.
It's like chump change, like a couple bucks. But still, I mean, a great opportunity. He's able to
change someone's
life,
month. I was going to say.
Yeah, that's awesome, though.
All right, and fighting crime doesn't get much cuter than this. Check out this video from the Connecticut State Police. Oh, I love this. That's K9 Dexter doing doggy push-ups right along his human partner from the emergency services unit. I think that's terrific. What a well-trained dog, huh?
Yeah, and it just kind of puts us to shame with our New Year's resolution fitness
goals. That even the dog is doing it and keeping up with it?
Yeah, just a friendly reminder that we got to hit the gym tonight, I guess. But that's so cool. My buddy, John Carlson, he works for the Cromwell PD, and we went to high school together, and he's part of the K9 unit, so his K9 is Bane. And this guy, he looks like a cute little friendly German Shepherd.
But then you put like that suit on, right?
Oh, my goodness. No, thank you.
They attack when needed to.
Scary stuff, but big shout out to those guys. So they're always working super hard, training those dogs, and so intelligent as well.
Absolutely. All right, as much as Sunday's Super Bowl will be a battle between the players on the field, it will certainly be a battle between advertisers as well. Which ones we're going to be talking about, which one flopped. About $5 million to get a Super Bowl ad.
Crazy money. And this year, the star power is certainly going to be out for those big commercials. The Backstreet Boys are lined up teaching Chance the Rapper, who you can see right there, he's from Chicago, some of the boy band dance moves. Whether it works out, we're going to have to wait and find out. But the ad is going to debut the new Flamin' Hot Nacho flavor for Doritos. So, how that relates, we are not quite sure yet.
Oh, but I'm happy to see Carrie Bradshaw.
Oh, that's good. Sarah Jessica Parker, yeah.
Alongside Jeff Bridges, from the guy from The Big Lebowski, and a pitch for Stella Beer.
Nice. That should be fun. It seems like chaos in that commercial. Up next, Steve Carell, Cardi B, and Lil Jon teaming up to sell some Pepsi. One beverage Pepsi is hoping to see a rise in is bubbly. They launched it last year, and they're hoping to get their sales up on that one.
What an odd trio to put together.
I saw the full commercial online. I think that's going to be the best commercial of the year. Anything you put Cardi B in, it's just people flock toward it.
We'll see what happens.
It's going to be a hit. I'm telling you.
All right, 100 million people are going to watch the game on Sunday night.
You're going to be watching, right?
Of course, I'll be eating really more, probably.
Lots of food, but there are some football fans, right? You have the Pats fans, and whether you're a Pats lover or hater, I think you have to respect the greatness that is Bill Belichick. And he actually has some Connecticut connections. I guess we could say that his success started here in Connecticut, as he used to go to school at Wesleyan University in Middletown. And our friend News 8's LaSalle Blanks has the story.
If you think Bill Belichick is a genius on the sidelines, you might credit his Connecticut college connections. Long before Brady, Belichick was a student of the game and a student in college at Wesleyan University in the 70s.
Having a great college experience is a phenomenal part of your 4 years of your life.
It's here where Belichick gained knowledge on how to get the most out of players and how to draw up championship game plans. Not when he played football, but surprise, when he played lacrosse.
He was captain of our lacrosse team. Coach Terry Jackson, who was the coach at the time, still tells stories today about how you could tell as a junior and a senior leader on the lacrosse team that Coach Belichick would be drawing up plays and talking to his teammates about where they should be on the field, and was much more of a coach on the field than a player.
In this video provided by Wesleyan University, Coach Belichick described how his lessons learned here propelled him to so much super success.
I realized here that there's so many talented people at this school that you could draw from their talents to make yourself a better person or to solve a problem. And that's kind of the way I would say I've taken that to coaching.
Belichick considers many of his Wesleyan friends family. Speaking of family, his daughter also went to college here. She even coached the lacrosse team. Bill Belichick has returned to campus many times, often motivating today's football players to be winners and holding fundraisers to keep his strong roots growing. Several of his Wesleyan buddies will be in Atlanta to support him on Sunday.
I think it really speaks volumes of how much he thinks about the university and the impact that the university had on his life.
In Middletown, LaSalle Blanks, News 8.
What a cool connection.
I like Connecticut connections.
Yeah, all of a sudden now we're Bill Belichick fans,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're
now
right.
we're rooting for the Patriots. We're rooting for the Rams, but I guess, Bill, now you sold
We
us.
changed our minds.
Okay, all right. Hey, this is neat. There's a new hotel here in New Haven, right?
Yes, it's a boutique-style hotel. It's called the Blake Hotel. It opened its doors last night. It's named after Yale's first female grad, and its restaurant is named after a historic sports venue, Hamilton Park.
And as you can notice from the video here, it's got that New York City flair, pretty upscale, 108 rooms, and the first and only Michelin star chef in the state of Connecticut, which is kind of cool. And today you can experience some of that food and excitement. They have an event happening today at 4 o'clock. You can check out all of the rooms. It's neat that the Elm City is growing and they have more to offer.
Another room for snow coverage. We're stuck here covering storms.
I see where you're going with that one. And